Hello, and welcome back to Password. We're still here in the woods with Oswin. With Dominic. Yeah, he's a good-looking fellow.
There will be a time where I'll have to leave the mansion eventually, Dave. I do not intend on dying here. I would hope no one would.
Right.
We're getting close.
It's been the first time Dom has spoken since we left, and I was the only one, I was only then conscious of how sore my feet were from walking. And just how long had we been walking, anyway? Nothing else was said until we hit the point where a soft light was lingering somewhere between the trees, and eventually we arrived. Oh, they are at a little cabin. It was a cabin, or given how run down it was, probably closer to a shack. Still, Dom led the way up to the front door and ushered us inside. I entered first and froze in place upon seeing who was in the room. Only moved when Oswin eased me aside as he entered as well. Dominic stepped in behind us, both and closed the door behind him. Well, look who the cat dragged in. Oh, Bear. Let's go with Bear. Jack's attention shifted immediately over to Dom, and he seemed to light up. Yes, thrown his arms up quickly in a greeting. Dom, you're back! It's good to see you. Jack went to get closer to Dom but Dom quickly shook his head, looking to the third person in the room. We all looked over to the figure hunched over the table, facing away from us. He seemed to be playing cards or something, but it was hard to really tell.
Just drop one of these off before heading out again.
Well, can I come this time at least? I'm bored out of my skull here.
Take it up with the boss. He can go. Just be quick about it.
The gravelly voice came from the dragon as he rose from the table. I remember the look he gave me as he caught a glance of us over his shoulder. It was fleeting, but oppressive all the same.
Good to see you again, Oswin.
There was a low chuckle that came out of his mouth before he turned around fully and came closer. Dominic and Jack seemed to back off, looking anywhere but him as he came to stand in the middle of the room to stare at us.
Who's the kid?
I went to answer, but he stepped in quickly. Oh god. Quickly, grabbing me by the jaw and looking me over.
That's the kid that came to my house that one time.
He let me go with a rough shove backwards into Oswin, who braced my fall and caught me by my shoulder.
Well, all right. I see how it is. You want to know how we got to the mountain. Consider it a trade, then.
He gestured to Dom to come forward and whisper something into his ear, getting a reaction.
But boss, need me to spell it out? Just get it done.
Dominic's eyes went to me, before he turned to Oswin.
Let's get going.
In a huff, Dominic left, keeping the door open but seemingly unimpressed. As I went to move, A meaty hand? Landed on my shoulder and gripped tight.
Now, where do you think you're going, kid?
Huh? I'm gonna go find out where... I started to tremble, piecing it together. I'd hoped that I had just misunderstood, or that I imagined things, but Dominic had been talking to Oswin and not me.
That wasn't the deal. So I didn't offer the boy as collateral. He can't offer you anything anyway. See, that's where you're wrong. You can just clam up the moment the kid gets off the mountain. You can just as happily not tell us anything. then it's us that get nothing out of this deal.
His grip tightened more, and I gasped slightly, tensing up to try not to give away how much it was hurting.
Taking the kid, though, yeah. I think you'd be more than willing to be helpful once you've told the rest how to get home. Then we can really start discussing this, as adults. But
he was struggling, and I was struggling too. If Roswell had come in my place, would he be right where I was standing instead? Would he be held hostage for the sake of the rest of us?
So hurry along before Dominic leaves you. Then head on back home. Tell the kid's friends where they can get off the mountain. Then come back here. Then if you're quick enough, there might be some of this hyena left.
Oswin looked at me, torn between apologetic and angry, but he turned quickly, heading out for the door.
I'll be back.
As the door closed behind him, things went quiet, and I was left alone with Memphis.
Well, sit down.
He said he was playing cards, right? We're just gonna pass the time, play some Yu-Gi-Oh? And when I didn't move, he grabbed me by the throat and lazily threw me towards one of the chairs. Even though it was clear he hadn't put his full strength into it, my neck throbbed from how it's been momentarily crushed. Memphis dropped down into his chair and started shuffling the cards up, watching me carefully as I slowly lowered myself into the other chair. Jack, meanwhile, remained where he was after Memphis had started speaking.
Jack, what are you standing around for?
He took my seat.
Then go find another.
There isn't one.
Then kick the kid out and I'll deal us up. What?
I sank in my chair, realizing I shouldn't have said anything.
Go on. Haven't got all day.
What are you gonna do with me?
Me? Nothing. Jack here, on the other hand, well, I figured he'll be a great friend.
Oh, you'll be a great friend, yeah. My blood ran cold as Jack wandered around to stand behind me, placing his hands slowly on my shoulders.
Oh, don't you worry, boss. We've met before.
This is the kid you ran into by the mill.
Yep, this is him.
The one you let get away.
I was just playing around, boss. I didn't hurt him none.
Well, you should've.
Still could be arranged.
Whatever you do, just keep it down. I reckon Oswin is going to drag his feet getting back here.
You think so? Seem to not like you switching things up on him.
Do I look like I care?
Works for me.
I was then, yes, half shoved off the chair, and Jack sat down as Memphis started to deal out some cards. My eyes went to the door, wondering if I could run for it. Chances are Dominic and Oswin were long gone, so if I could slip by, I could escape. Slowly, I started to edge towards the door, but got a couple steps there before I heard a distinct click.
Don't even think about it.
Memphis had a gun pointed at me, something that looked far too large to be comfortable in one hand. But he didn't seem to be bothered in the slightest. Carefully, I raised my hands and backed away from the door, staring at the barrel of the gun as it was trained on me. That's what that says.
Jack, take him into the other room.
Where we sleep?
Nah, the other room.
Jack was behind me in a flash and started walking me across the hallway. There were only 2 doors. One door was left ajar, and from what I saw, there were beds. The other, though, was closed up until Jack kicked it open and threw me forwards, so I landed inside on my knees. It was cold, dusty. I could feel a draft coming in from somewhere, but above me, hanging from the ceiling, were hooks. Oh! Some broken, and others that looked cruel and sharp.
What a pain in the ass. Dom gets to have all the fun.
Jack had me back up and pushed me into the corner right before hooking me back down again. Knocking me, not hooking, whoops.
So here's the deal. You sit there, keep quiet, and just wait.
You're not going to hurt me?
Oh, I can rough you up some if you really want. Maybe pick up where we left off.
He kicked me lightly when I didn't respond, shaking his head.
Nah, can't go having any fun without Dom saying it's fine. Stupid deal. You chase one hyena for fun, and the boss grounds you.
You never had to do that, you know.
But I wanted to, Dave. Now here's how this is going to work. You're gonna sit right there in the corner and keep quiet. But given you just tried running away, how about we do something about that?
Upon catching sight of the knife he tucked away, I froze, only realizing what he'd done once he stepped away again. My ankle had been chained to the wall. A lock keeps the, manacle closed.
Now you sit tight and don't make a sound, Dave. Otherwise, I don't think the boss is going to like coming in here to keep you quiet himself.
With a wave, Jack left the room and closed the door behind him. I could hear him wander away, and then the muffled sounds of him talking with Memphis about something. I tried not to waste the effort by listening in, only because the sight of the hooks instead had my attention. I didn't like this place. It was giving me this awful feeling, this dark feeling, and subconsciously I felt my hand go to my chin. Trembling in the cold, I tried to ball up in order to keep warm. Yelling for help wasn't going to help. Yelling for help wasn't going to help. That's too many helps in one sentence. Because there was no one around. If anything, I was in more danger if I said a word. So I started to cry, quietly, cold and scared, worried for what was about to happen. It was all I had left. Oh. After a few minutes to myself, I remembered the envelope in my pocket. With nothing else to do, I pulled it out and weighed it in my hands. The envelope from Oswin, meant for Roswell, and now in my hands. After a few seconds, I carefully opened it, reaching in and looking at the photo. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what I was looking at first. It could have been the dark or a combination of things distracting me, but it was clear as day. The photo was of Roswell when he was very young. The woman next to him was no doubt his mother, and why was she so familiar? Florencia? I trailed off, unsure of how I knew that. It made sense after what Oswin had said. It'd mean that Oswin was Roswell's uncle if Florencia was his mom. But why didn't I remember seeing her? It would have been so long ago, but why did I know the name, the face? My head started to hurt, and I tried to focus. What did it mean? How did I know this was Florencia? But then came the question of the father. Maybe this woman wasn't Florencia, and instead the father was going to be Oswin's brother. I didn't understand. This was a rabbit, or a hare. I couldn't tell the difference anymore. Either way, this wasn't Roswell's dad. Or at least it couldn't be. Roswell wasn't half rabbit. You couldn't, have half species. Not like that, anyway. Carefully, I look at the man's features. He looked like a magician, or maybe it was just a fancy cut of his coat. His white fur did remind me a little of the Easter Bunny, though. Oswin said it'd be fine if I read the note, so long as Roswell got it too. Though I wasn't sure if the rule still applied, given the assumption was that I'd be the one getting back. Still, what could be the harm? The message was simple and to the point. I figured that there would have been something more. Something profound, maybe. just not this. I remember the words again, finding myself smirking slightly. Eh. The yes, the I'm ooh. I was gone for a second. They were nice words, words that I was looking forward to hearing again myself. I tucked the photo back into my pocket and went back to waiting. So I waited. I heard Dominic come back and someone else leave. I could hear hushed voices between those, still here, but nothing else. So was there no restroom in this cabin? I just realized that. Like there was the space with the table, and he said there was 2 doors, and if one's the bedroom and one of them's this meat locker, is there no restroom? Is there no place to shit or piss? Is there no shower? How long has it been since Jack has showered? Curious. These are questions I want to know. No one came back to check on me, but they didn't make the cold any easier. I huddled up in the corner and just waited. Someone could come for me. Someone would find me. Eventually. Oh, shit, though. Time continued to pass long into the night, to the point I could hear someone turning in and entering the adjoining room where the beds were. If I wasn't so concerned for what was going to happen to me, or when someone would be back to collect me, I might have registered the grumbling in my stomach as hunger. Trembling in the draftiness of the room, I wondered if I was going to catch a cold, which, given everything else going on, would have been a lot less dire. That ended up... a lot less dire than ending up dead or otherwise. I must have been fading in and out of consciousness too, because at some point I could have sworn I saw Dominic standing in the room with me, his dark fur blending in with the shadows. It wasn't until he spoke that I realized I wasn't hallucinating and found myself a lot more awake.
The boss is asleep.
Okay. He sat down, breathing out.
Jack has gone for a walk, too.
My lack of response caused him to sit there, staring at me for a few moments before he spoke again.
Hungry.
Why hasn't Oswin come back yet? How long has it been?
That wasn't what I asked.
I shrank back into the corner, and again he shook his head.
But hours. So are you hungry or not?
A little, maybe. He pulled out some jerky out from his back pocket. Like, was it in something? Was it like in a little plastic baggie? Or does he just have like strips of meat in his back pocket? Cause that it's not that I wouldn't eat it if I was hungry enough, but it's more like, where do you have to be in life to just fill your pocket with jerky? Like, not like put it in a bag and in your pocket, but just like, yeah, just stuff your pocket full of jerky. I don't know. And threw it at me, landing in front of me on the floor.
Eat this then.
Why are you feeding me?
If you're worried about it being drugged or something, don't. It's just dried meat.
Carefully, I pick up the scrap of meat off the floor and dust it off. Even by jerky standards, it was dry, and almost completely flavorless, too.
I'm gonna get you a blanket.
Why? The question made him pause, tilting his head slightly.
Because you're going to get cold otherwise.
He's gonna get cold anyway. I mean, the blanket helps, don't get me wrong. The blanket's gonna be nice. But, like, you know. Well, yeah, but...
This isn't me feeling sorry for you, or trying to make up for what the boss did. You're just more valuable to us alive.
I cower, and immediately he seemed to ease off with a sigh.
Then boss changed his mind like that. Oswin wasn't too pleased with the change of plan.
But you kept your end of the bargain. Oswin knows the way off the mountain.
Sure does. Almost went off at a run once he knew how to get back to the house.
That's good, right?
Who knows?
He shrugged and left, leaving me alone to chew on what little rations I'd been given. I could hear him moving out in the other room, even quietly, though he didn't return right away. What I heard instead was someone entering the house, which I assumed was Jack. There was a hushed conversation soon after before I heard footsteps coming towards the door. Sure enough, it was Dom with a blanket, though much like the jerky, he threw it towards me rather than handing it over. Thanks. Did Jack just get back?
He did.
You don't seem too pleased about that. There was a look he gave me. It wasn't frustrated or annoyed, like he seemed to be when he entered, but something more subtle, as if he was weighing up just how much to tell me.
Jack's walk went well. He's cooled off.
From what?
He didn't like that I got to do everything, even after the boss said he could come soon. Wait, he could come show Oswin the way off the mountain.
I didn't notice that he stayed. Why? I did notice that he stayed. Okay.
Want to ask him yourself?
I quietly shook my head, and Dom chuckled quietly. Okay, I'm going to end the part here. So I will see you around, everyone.